Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So first thing I noticed is that we could basically get rid of this front row. I mean, some people are like moving forward, but like let's scooch up a bit. Yeah, the kids were asked to come up, and God bless them. But that was a reluctant act. It was and then they walked up front. But if I can ask people to make use of these beautiful chairs up in front, get closer to God's love, I'm going to give it to you. Come on, everyone. Like, what are you doing? You in the back there. Stand up. Come on, let's go. Yeah. Let's get moving. Come on. Look, there's still seats. There's still seats. Keep going. Josh, I see. You have 3 more seats right there. No. Sir, you in the back. Do you want to move up? No. Just. Now he's got that whole area to himself. He can lay back and relax. All right, well, I'll be looking at you the most. Okay, so I was asked to give this Sunday message maybe about a month ago. And I was like, okay, I have time. I have a whole month. And then, so I work on it here and there. And then each time I feel like I have something like, nah, that's not what I want to convey, or this is not something that I feel like I want to hear. And then that kept happening. I wrote something, or I had an idea. It's like, oh, maybe I'll share this experience, or nah. And then, so 2 days ago, it was Friday. Oh man, I have nothing. And I was freaking out a little bit because, I think with my character, I really want to convey like the best words possible. I want to inspire people and I want to change people. But we all know that we can't change other people. Okay? I can't change you. I can say some really beautiful, amazing words. And I'm pretty confident I have some talent in speaking well. But I don't have the ability to change your life. Okay? That relies on you, right? On myself. I can't change you, but I can change me if I put the effort. And it's not easy, but that's just what I wanted to start with. That's not actually part of my sermon. So today, what I do have down was inspired by Dr. Young last week, and one of his key points about community. I want to share something amazingly beautiful in nature. So there's I don't know what to call it, but with a tribe of elephants, when a mother elephant is going to give birth, all the female elephants in the community of the elephants surround this mother. And then as she gives birth, and the newborn is on the ground and is birthed, all of the elephants stroke the newborn. Right? You're a part of us. You're a part of this community. You belong here with us. And so that amazing tradition with elephants, we can learn a lot from. Right? God's purpose in creation was for us to learn from it to create the societies that we can build and understand, how to love, how to take care of each other. And so that really inspired me because it was so beautiful. Right? Imagine if we were to treat each other that way. Like there's someone who's new to the community or we haven't seen in a while. And we don't have to surround them and stroke them. That'd be kind of weird. Maybe a little overwhelming. But it would be unforgettable, wouldn't it? Yeah, so Anyway, there's a lot of things that happened recently, and with my dad passing away, and a lot of things that made me contemplate the value of like life, and what makes life valuable, what makes it, I wouldn't say valuable, but like, what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? Meaningful. Meaningful. Thank you. Yeah, what makes a life meaningful? And I'm totally going off my script, my outline here, but one of the things that I came across was a poster. So I feel like I'm going everywhere, but I'm back on my outline, and here it is. So I discovered a poster about a week ago, and this poster is called My Life in Weeks, okay? So with this poster, you kind of have to draw a line in the sand. So you have a choice of 88 years or 100 years. Or if you're really optimistic, 120. I looked at it. And each row is 52 boxes with how many years, right? And so each box represents 1 week of your life. And every week you fill out a box and you think about your life. And it's a visual representation of the life that you've lived and how much time you have left. And that is kind of scary, isn't it? If you were to look at this poster and think, oh my gosh, like, I'm already 23. That's like roughly 25% of my life is like lived already. And now I have 75%. So I was thinking about getting this poster because I feel like it would motivate me a lot. But the idea of this poster made me think about, right, what makes a life meaningful. And on top of my father passing away and so many other things happening and how much time I feel like I've wasted, I really had to answer this question of what makes a life meaningful. So where else did I look being a part of this movement? Where would I look? Divine Principle, yeah. So the Divine Principle and the things that I learned on GPA and the things that I learned in CARP. One of the more impactful things that I learned from GPA was a talk given by one of my commanders, but he said that the Divine Principle can be summarized in one word. Can you guess what that word is? No. Like, that's good, but that's not the word I'm looking for. Not quite. Okay. The word is relationship. Boom. If you were to summarize the entire Divine Principle in one word, that would be relationship. Hi. Come sit up front. Look, there's so much space for you guys. Let's give him a warm welcome. Yeah. Thank you for coming. Okay. But right, relationships. So Divine Principle outlines God's original ideal for relationships. Then the Divine Principle outlines what went wrong with the relationship that was meant to be. And then the rest of the Divine Principle, roughly, it's Divine Principle like 400 pages, okay? Most is restoring the relationship that could have happened from what it was, to what its original purpose was. And so God is a God of relationship. Right? The only way to feel love and to have faith is to be in a relationship with someone. Give and take action, right? This is the whole foundation of the 4-position foundation, right? Is the fact that we have relationships centered on God. So that is the ideal. And so when True Mother changed the name, once again, right, of all the name changes that we've happened, I think this one is the most meaningful, right? Heavenly Parents Holy Community. And so community, and what is a community? It's a community where we meet up once every week on Sundays to listen to someone unqualified to talk. I'm talking about me, but that's how I feel. But the idea of just meeting up once a week, no, right? A community is where we get together often, celebrate together, have meaningful relationships together, right? Be concerned about how someone is doing. Oh, they didn't come to service this week. Is something wrong? Like, are they okay? And feeling that kind of concern, right? Wouldn't that feel nice? Like, oh, someone's concerned about me. It feels good. Being concerned about other people, right? What does that show about your level of heart? And so we are a community, or that's what we're striving to be. That's what we want to be more of. And it's not just like, all right, we're a community, but it's like a constantly growing level. And so we want to be a bunch of individuals together, working together, creating some kind of amazing environment that people want to come to. Not just because of potluck or because of, that could be a huge aspect. Food is love, right? But if we just create the environment where people are drawn to it and they want to stay, and we have to shoo them away. That was our motto in Carp Las Vegas when we had these discussion nights every Thursday. These are deeper discussions that people on campus don't usually get to talk about in a space where Carp students listen so attentively, right? These people, the guests that we invite, they feel so welcomed because they feel listened to. They feel accepted. They feel heard. And that's important because feeling heard is different from being heard, Yeah. So the idea of Tribe Talk is that we had to okay, it's 11 p.m. We gotta go. We have to have a meeting. We have to close this. But people, and then we'd kind of shoo them out of the room, and they'd be standing outside the room that we had, and then we'd be talking. It was, well, at least they're out of the room. But isn't this the kind of community that we want to create, right? And so the idea of having this community starts within what we have already, right? To be able to draw people in, first we have to be drawn in ourselves. So this ties into my hope for growing relationships here in the community. And I'm pretty new to this community. Not new as in the Unification Church, but I just moved to Columbus a month ago. And I've been out of state for the past 5 years. So I haven't really been around in this community so much. So I feel maybe that I don't have a good grasp of, the relationships here. But from the few weeks that I've been here, I've been to game nights, and they have been so good. We play volleyball every once in a while. I've played every once in a while, but things like that with some of the the kids outside from the community who don't really come to church, and it's great. And it's so hard. I thought about it. It's why don't I invite them to church? Because that's hard. Yeah, I don't think I would have invited anyone today to listen to me talk. That would have just put a lot of pressure on myself. But yeah, I want a community where we can build healthy, deep relationships. And I'm not married. I don't have kids. I live with a married couple. And they have kids, and so I can observe, but I know that a healthy relationship doesn't mean no fights, but being able to resolve it very well, to communicate openly. I feel that's not just in marriage, is it? It's every relationship where we can have meaningful conversations, where I can be genuinely interested in your life. Wouldn't that be that's the person, it makes you feel interesting, however uninteresting you feel. Or maybe you have so much to talk about, and you just want someone to listen. a lot of the conversations that I've had here, it's kind of, like we don't have much time. There isn't, like every conversation I have, or okay, let me just say that my character, I have a desire to get to know people and have deep conversations. I think, like, I love being vulnerable. I love being honest, because I just sometimes I just want to pour myself out. And then, my experiences from the people who could take it, it's like, I feel loved in that moment. Like, so incredibly valued. And from something so simple. And I think, the time that we give people really tests, because what I mentioned with the poster, right? We don't get our time back. It's like we're born and we have $22 million in our bank account when we're born, and then we don't earn another cent. We might be pretty scarce with that. We might be freely spending until we realize we don't have anything left. 22 million is how many seconds the average lifespan is, by the way. That's why I chose that number. But the time that we give to someone is so precious, isn't it? So thank you for giving your time to me today. Yeah, time is precious. And everyone wants to kind of talk about themselves a little bit, maybe, right? Oh, I have this viewpoint. This is my idea of this, and I want to talk about myself. It's fine. It's good, But the idea of wanting to tell someone something about yourself and them being kind of reluctant to listen, it's kind of difficult to have a really meaningful conversation, isn't it? And we want to feel validated from our perspective. The contradiction is that sometimes when we do that, when we want to talk about ourselves, we don't talk about everything. We just talk about the good parts. We just talk about the parts that make us look good or make us look happy. A lot of times we have, things that we don't want to share, the things that we feel a little bit of shame about or afraid of. But we hold it in, and then when we hold it in and we don't share it, guess what you don't feel? You don't feel loved. Because then what goes on in your head is, if they knew that I was going through this, or if I was doing this, then there's no way they'd accept me. There's no way that I'd feel loved in this moment. It's scary. I don't want to share this, so I'll just share the good parts. And then in that moment, you've blocked yourself off from being able to receive any love at all. Even though this person might be willing to give you all the time in the world. To give you the chance to voice every concern or everything you're so afraid of. So this is nearing the end of my message, but I'm going to give everyone a chance to go through a community exercise, okay? Similar to my last sermon, if you were there. Sermon, message, anyway. Yeah, so I just want to end with this. My 3 favorite words, or 3 favorite phrases. Thank you. You worked hard. And I love you. So simple. The thing about those 3 phrases is that it doesn't acknowledge the accomplishments that people have done. I mean, thank you. Sure, thank you for your effort. You worked hard, didn't you? But if we praise people for the accomplishments that they've done, then that's all they're going to seek in order to feel love. That I have to be great to feel loved. But that's not the kind of community you want to create, no? We want to create the community where it's, you can be great because I love you. Because that's what God feels. I love you so much that you can be anything you want. You can do anything. Right? If we can feel like that, who wouldn't want to come? Who wouldn't want to stay? Okay, so thank you. That's the end of my message. But I'm going to do a small exercise. So I'm going to explain it a little bit, but I just want you to find someone you kind of hope to know a little bit better. So everyone can stand up. And if you have someone in mind, go straight to them. If not, maybe you can roam around a little bit and say, oh, maybe I don't want to know you. No, I'm just kidding. But like, no, but yeah, get close to someone. Or if you want to get closer to someone or get to know someone or just have a conversation with a friend, that's fine too. So everyone can stand up, stand. If you can, if you don't feel comfortable standing, that's okay. People will come to you. Okay. So yeah, go. Oh, meet up with one other person you wish to know better. Yeah, these aren't like super deep, revealing questions. It's okay. And then once you found your pair, you can sit down. Anywhere is fine. The back is fine. The stage is fine. Okay, if you found your pair, you can sit down. And then once everyone's seated, we can start. Okay, if you found someone, please sit down. Wow, this is such great energy, though. Okay, I'll give you guys a chance to talk. I just need everyone's attention. Are you ready? Okay, you can sit down. If you're ready, you can sit down. If you have your pair, you can sit down. If you have your pair, you can sit down. You can sit anywhere you want, on the stage, on the floor, in the back, that's okay. Okay, yeah, sit down if you have your pair. If you have your pair, sit down. Okay, Nathan, you can cue the music, please. Shh. All right, so this is just chill lo-fi music. It's cool. But you can maybe designate one listener and one talker for this conversation. So you can do that now. Who wants to be the listener and who can be the talker? It's just a few prompts. It's a few prompts. And then we'll switch after that. Okay? So, okay. Talkers and listeners, did you decide? And so, I mean, you guys will both get your chance. You'll switch afterwards. It's just, you both get a chance. Sorry, I should have clarified. You will both get a chance. It's just first round, one will be the listener, and then the other, and then, you'll switch after the prompts. And this will be the same prompts. Are you ready? When was the last time you laughed more than normal? Next question for those who need it. Otherwise, you can continue. When was the last time you felt excited about something? What was it for? Next prompt for those who need it is name someone who you feel very close with and talk about why you love them. Name someone you feel very close with and talk about why you love them. Okay, you can start wrapping up. Okay, you can start wrapping up. Your conversations is so beautiful. I should be having a hard time getting your attention as much as possible, but also, please, I need your attention. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. How's the energy? Good? Okay, awesome. So I said you both have a chance, but maybe not. You can stand up and then find someone new across the room. Oh, and thank each other for your conversations. Maybe someone you're not so comfortable. No, it should be somewhat comfortable. How about someone you didn't talk to last Sunday? Okay. So the first prompt. Now feel free to talk about something else. You don't have to sit there in silence, but if you prefer that, I guess that's okay. But the first prompt was, what are your plans for this summer? And then if you have no plans, then if you had no budget, where would you go? And you can exchange, like both people can take turns. Both people can take turns this time. Okay, the next prompt that I feel like would be really nice to know is, what is your, like, an opposite of a pet peeve? What is something you actually really appreciate when other people do? It can be really small, it can be a little big. What's something you appreciate like other people do? Like an opposite of a pet peeve, like complete opposite. When someone does this, you're like, wow, this is so nice. Go. Do you understand? Yeah, okay, go. Oh. 11:02. Okay, and the last prompt for this pair, there will be one more switch. The last prompt is, how do you handle being stressed out? What do you do when you get stressed out? Has there been anything that's been stressing you out lately? Okay. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Give you 15 seconds to wrap up. 15, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. All right, please wrap up your conversations. Wrap them up. I'm sorry, I don't want to cut anyone short, but I have to. Please, hello, hello. Oh, decently, yeah. Look at that. There's some like ripples in there, but nice. Okay. So, from these first two conversations, how was that? Great? Good? Thumbs up? Any thumbs downs? No. Wow. Amazing. So, one thing I noticed this morning is I came in a little bit earlier than normal, and not really so many people came. And after Sunday service starts at 10 o'clock, music team has the responsibility of raising the spirit, and that is a lot of weight on their shoulders. It's a lot of work to get everyone's spirit up high. But imagine if you come in 15, 30 minutes early, get a cup of coffee, and just, hey, how was your week? Well, how was this? Was there anything that happened? What's going on? How's it been? Maybe that would be really nice, and it would create a spirit in the whole building, and then you come ready to receive service. That'd be really nice, wouldn't it? Maybe we should get an espresso machine and then have the youngins make coffee for us. Make espresso. Steamed milk. And then you pay them. So it's not, yeah. They'll have their own little mini Holy Beans coffee shop there in the kitchen. That'd be really nice, wouldn't it? And that's just an idea but here's the last conversation, and this one's gonna be a little bit more kind of deeper. So if you can find someone you already have a developed relationship with and someone you feel like you can trust. So yeah, you can stand up and then just think of someone if there's someone here. And if there isn't, I'm here. I didn't talk to anyone yet today. No, I'm just playing. If you really want to talk to me, I'm great. I'm good. But find someone you trust and you have a deeper relationship with already. That you feel more comfortable being vulnerable with. It can be siblings, it can be family, best friends, longtime community members. You feel open to giving them a hug or two. Okay, and so for this exercise, hello, and so, hello. Yes, the conversation already started. I can tell how close you are to already. So, with this exercise, it would be good to establish a clear Cain Abel kind of thing, just to establish it. Okay, like, yeah, I'm probably Cain in this relationship, or you're a Cain. But yeah, just kind of establish, maybe it would be really beneficial to understand who's subject and who's object in this relationship. At least in this moment of time. And then, it can switch. Okay, so is it established? Do you feel clear? Who in this relationship, at least in this conversation, who's Cain and who's Abel? I know that's very church lingo. Does anyone not understand what I said? Okay, so everyone here understands. Okay, so for the first prompt, you can, for the first thing is give each other a hug. Just say, I appreciate you. Or however you feel. Say thank you. Okay, and so for the first actual talking prompt is, what is one thing you learned or discovered recently? So what is one thing you learned recently? It can be a random fact, it can be, anyway, anything. What did you learn recently? What did you discover recently? Maybe about yourself, maybe about another people, about relationships in general. What did you learn? Yeah, and discovered that Seiji's sermons are the best sermons ever. Okay, the next prompt is. The next prompt is. The next prompt is. What is one thing or a couple things you wish we talked about more but are difficult to talk about? One thing you wish we talked about more that's difficult to talk about. All right, and the last prompt is what makes you imperfect? That's probably a lot of things. What makes you imperfect? Imperfect. What are your mistakes? What are your flaws? What are your challenges right now? I guess a better way to put that is, what do you hope to work on? I think is the best way to put that. About yourself. What is one thing you hope to work on? About yourself, about your relationships. Okay. All right, the energy in here is great. I just need everyone's attention for one last time. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I don't know if everyone wants to stay where they are or if they want to return their seats. But I feel like I have an epilogue. Or something I just forgot to say. So, anyway, in terms of listening to one another, how does it feel to be listened to? Nice. And when someone gives you that time, it's very precious, isn't it? Does it have to be in this setting where I have to guide you through the questions? Yes. Oh. Okay, well, let's do it more often. Nah, but it's really nice, isn't it? And it's something we can do after service, or even better is before service. See, when at the beginning of service, when I was sitting there and these like rows were empty, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be brutal. Everyone wants to stay like 25 plus feet away from me. You know? But even just giving someone your attention, it's so valuable, isn't it? Usually, you know, like when children cry, what are they asking for? Attention. No, they're not asking for it, they're demanding it, right? Children are very good at that. And sometimes, as we grow older, that pure heart of just knowing that when we need attention, it goes away. The innocence of knowing that when we have a need for attention, it becomes silent. Our innocence disappears. But it's not gone. A lot of times the purity and the innocence that we hold it like an egg, right? I love, if you're familiar with High Noon, this is their analogy, but oftentimes in this movement we compare purity to an egg that is so fragile that if it breaks, it's gone, the yolk is broken, the shell is cracked, and you can't put it back together. It's not Humpty Dumpty, but Humpty Dumpty's not an egg. But it's more like a garden or a battery where you can recharge it. You recharge your innocence, the beauty that you have in your heart, the child inside of you. Being aware of what I need attention right now. I need love. Sometimes, if you're really high level spiritual, Takanaka-san, you can just go to God. No. But, you can go to your spouse if you're married. There you're a God, right? That's what Dr. Young loves to say. Or you can go to someone you respect dearly, because they'll give you your time. You won't go to some stranger in a mall and you pour out all your stress and that'll be way too overwhelming. You won't get what you need. But if you can do this here and there, you feel like, whoa, yeah, you feel uplifted. It's a high energy. Okay? And you start to realize, the more you share about the things that you messed up with or the mistakes you made, and the people listen to you, it's like, well, so what? You made this mistake. So what? Now that's like whoa, what the heck? Why are you saying that? Aren't you supposed to console me? So what? That doesn't matter. I still love you. I still think you're valuable. You are not your mistakes. Absolutely not. You are not your flaws. You're basically the person who just has to carry it, and then you do something about it. And that's the person who you become. So you want to become someone, you can see the things that you have to carry and the cards you have to play and the situation you're in. But a lot of times the things that we react to are just the result of the environment we're in. Now just one final thing is that I was really deeply inspired by this work, a documentary. It's called The Wisdom of Trauma. Has anyone heard of it? No one. One person, David Lee. Anyway, so it's a documentary on the work of a doctor who kind of delved really deep into like childhood experiences, trauma, addiction. He wrote a book called In the Realm of Hungry Ghosts. His name is Gabor Mate. But the documentary is just based on his work around this. And one of the more deeper things that I took away from this, it's free to watch, Wisdom of Trauma. Anyway, it's really cool. The Wisdom of Trauma, it sounds like, whoa, kind of interesting. The main takeaway for me was that the trauma that we experience in our lives, it can be things that either happen to us or the things that haven't happened to us as a child. And the trauma that we have in our heart or in our soul, in our being, it isn't the event that happened to us. It's what happens inside of us as a result of what happened to us. That makes sense? So as a child, things can happen to you and you don't realize it. But when little needs aren't met here and there, you start to believe and start to conclude, oh, I'm not loved in this moment. When a parent just, as parents, you kind of lose patience with your kids. Like, oh, I wish they'd just do what I say or do what I ask. Or I know what is better for them. They'll hurt themselves easily. But if you get angry with them, in that moment, they're not acting good. Guess what? And then you get angry and you yell at them. Is that child feeling loved in that moment when you get angry with them? No. And then eventually, if that happens more and more, it's going to be, I have to be good to feel loved. And love then becomes conditional for the child. And whether we, I'm not saying, oh, we're bad people and we have to work on this, blah, blah, blah. But it's like understanding that the people who raised us did their absolute best. And especially in this movement, when we focus so much on getting better and restoring our character, it's like, it's only going to get better. But even True Father said it's going to take 7 generations, right? Anyway, the point of this is that it's really cool work where a man who's not part of this movement can discover such principled things because it's principle, right? It's not just the divine principle, but it's just aspects of life that we realize we need healing from the little things that happened or didn't happen in our lives. Wow. So what do I want to end it with? Totally not that. I just kind of went off a tangent. I think that's it. Thank you.